When you woke up this morning, the storyline was pretty predictable. You already knew what the talking heads were going to say. James Harden faded into the background. When they needed him most, where did he go? What happened to James Harden? James Harden disappeared. James Harden choked. But did he really? Let's take a look at the film from Game 5. Make sure you follow on Twitter at ScoutWithBryan. Let's take a look and see if James Harden really choked or is that a false narrative from the media. First, let's look at the offense, right? Harden played a few minutes to start the fourth quarter, had this huge floater. After that, he played James Harden basketball, which is James Harden makes the unselfish play. All right, if he looks ahead and sees that he has an advantage in transition, he's going to throw ahead. He saw right here, he's got two players with only Draymond back. They played pitch and catch with each other for a second. Shumpert ended up getting Draymond in the air, shot fake, hit a huge three right here. James Harden plays unselfishly. That's what he does. He gets rid of the ball if you make him. He lets his teammates play if they have an advantage. This is the way Houston's played all season. They attack mismatches. They viewed Jerebko on CP3 as the biggest mismatch they had right here, so they let him play. CP3 attacked Jerebko's feet, got by him, found Tucker. Steph had to rotate to Tucker, who made the extra pass to Shumpert. Remember, Shumpert, who just hit that three up here, now has shot fake, one dribble, another wide open three. The shot doesn't go in. They scored 27 points in this quarter. They scored enough to win. They had an offensive rating of 130 in this quarter. Offense was not the problem. James Harden checked out at 8:15 with them down one. He checked back in at 7:08 with them down one. He got about a minute of rest. Otherwise, he played the whole quarter. Now we're down three. This is how Golden State, an adjustment they made. Credit to Steve Kerr, especially on pick and rolls. They wanted to get the ball out of Harden's hands. So you see Looney come up really aggressive at the point of the screen. When Harden sees this, when he sees the big man up like this, he's unselfish. He makes the right play. The right play is hitting Capella in the pocket, and that's when Draymond comes in. Capella has the kick out to Paul in the corner. And now we got guys in rotations. That's what coaches want. When you hear them talk about second side, getting him in rotations, drive and kick, etc., this is what we want. Draymond has to come in. Clay has to rotate. CP3 attacks his feet, attacks the paint touch, ends up getting Eric Gordon a wide open three. Again, that doesn't show up in the stat sheet at all for James Harden, but it's a result of him making the right basketball play. 5:30 left, and this time we're going to hit ahead again because Eric Gordon has a mismatch with Steph Curry. The Warriors do a pretty good job loading up. You see Draymond getting back, being on the strong side. Eric Gordon doesn't really have room to attack, so he's going to get rid of the ball. Eventually, they're going to find another mismatch. Chris Paul against Looney. Chris Paul, again, one of the best of all time, just attacking guys' feet, herky-jerky, knowing how to play. Gets to the free throw line. 4:20 left, down three. This is where Andre Iguodala really, he was unbelievable in the fourth quarter. People talked about Harden not stepping up with KD out. KD's not guarding Harden. So, yes, it was a missed opportunity. Yes, that's a huge, unbelievable player for Golden State, a huge part of their offense that I think Game 6, Game 7, if they don't have him, it's going to be really, really tough to win. But for one quarter without him, they're able to survive. Look at this team they have out here. This is an elite defensive team they have. They got Steph and Clay on the court. They got more than enough offense, and they got Iguodala. It's one of the best defenders of the league. They're trying to get Curry switched onto him with the Austin Rivers screen right here, but Iguodala does a great job fighting through it. So Harden eventually just says, get out of there, Rivers. Let me take him one-on-one. And then this is the other adjustment Golden State really, really made. In past games, when Harden had ISOs, they kind of just left this guy out on an island and said, you know what, we'll live with Harden going to work. In this game, they really didn't want to let him beat them. So every time he had an ISO, they showed Harden a picture like this. Four guys practically in the paint. Looney stepping up even outside the free throw line, ready to come and meet Harden on the drive. So when Harden eventually goes to make his move, gets by Iguodala again, now Looney finally steps up. Iguodala, again, is playing such good defense. Harden can't even get to the step back that he wants to get to because Iguodala's up so tight guarding him up here. up on the move, up on the three-point line. Finally, Harden gets by him to his right hand. Again, Looney steps up. So what does Harden do? Makes the right play. The right play is big man in the dunker. Right here, this should be a dunk. For Clint Capella, that's a dunk. For PJ Tucker, it's not. Not as big, not as athletic. He tries to get to the other side of the backboard, finish underneath, and gets blocked. Still 100% the right basketball play by James Harden. 3 minutes left, down 5. Again, I'll talk about this on defense too, but this was one of the downsides of going small ball with Tucker at the 5, especially against Looney, who played phenomenally well down the stretch. Looney, again, is up and aggressive at the screen. So the right read, once again, it's not for Harden to go by right here. He's got 2 on the ball. The right read really is to get it to Tucker in this pocket. But since he's not a regular big man, he's not really in that pocket well. You see how he drifts down. He should be staying right here, right in this pocket. Instead, he kind of gets out of there, so Harden doesn't have the pass. Okay, so now he's going to take Iguodala one-on-one again. Ends up again getting some separation. But this is, again, the picture that Golden State showed him. They did a great job being in their help spots. Anytime he ISO'd, anytime he drove, you see Steph helping off the strong side corner even. Looney coming to trap the box, coming strong side, so Harden doesn't have any way to even get his floater off. Draymond in the paint, covering down on Tucker. The only pass right here, really, was to Gordon. And Harden found it. Gordon loses the ball for a second, ends up driving, again, getting them in rotations, collapsing the defense. He ends up finding Tucker in the corner for a wide open 3, which he makes. But as we know, Tucker was out of bounds by about an inch. No basket. Turnover. 2 minutes left. Down 8. Capella's back in the game. This is the other thing, again, they've done all season. If Harden's being denied, if his man's playing him so tight, almost to half court, they'll play 4-on-4. They trust the other 4 guys, as they should, to score 4-on-4 with no help defender. So Chris Paul knows Capella's the lob guy in the dunker, gets by Looney again. Draymond steps up, lob to Capella, easy money. Again, offense wasn't the problem. In a quarter, you scored 27. Down 6, 45 seconds left. Again, Looney up, aggressive. Harden can't go by on the pick and roll. Goes to ISO Steph, gets by him. Finds Capella. Again, they were so aggressive, almost trapping, trying to get the ball out of Harden's hands. Makes the right play. That's what he does. Down 5, 23 seconds left. This time Looney's not up as aggressive on the screen. Harden sees an opportunity to split it, get back to his left hand, which he does, make it a one-possession game with 18 seconds left. You take this any time of the day, any day of the week, excuse me. It was a one-possession game. They were a 50-50 ball away from having the ball back with 5 seconds left, down 3 with a chance to send the game into overtime. The narrative's so funny. Harden hits a 3 then with 5 seconds left to send it to overtime and wins the game in overtime. He's a superhero. Instead, they don't get the 50-50 ball. Golden State scores a layup with 5 seconds left, and the game's over. Doesn't mean James Harden didn't play the right way, didn't make the right plays in the quarter. Let's take a look at the defense, which, again, was the much bigger problem. They allowed Steph to get going, first and foremost. Houston normally is locked in and switches everything so well. Here, Jerebko sets a little pin down for Steph in transition. Shumpert's got to be up and ready to switch this right away. He's late. CP3 recognizes, but Shumpert doesn't until it's too late. This much room. It's too much room for Steph. And allowed him to start seeing the basket and getting some confidence. Harden, to his credit, mostly did his job. He gets maligned a lot as a defender, as a guy you want to attack. Whenever Golden State tried to get him switched on to Steph, he mostly did a pretty good job containing him, keeping him in front, staying low. This was a huge, huge play in the game. This was an after timeout play. 4:30 left. Golden State up 1. Steve Kerr calls timeout. He drew up a play to perfectly take advantage of Houston's switching defense. As I said, Houston switches just about everything. You see Rivers pointing for Tucker to switch here, which he does. Now Rivers is on Clay. He's going to have Looney end the play by setting this little back screen for Clay. So what that means is Harden's going to have to switch on to Looney. Harden's guarding Looney. So Rivers is going to have to switch on a Looney. He does that, but Looney now has him sealed on the backside of him. So when Rivers switches, which is the right scheme, that's what they do. Harden switches just like he's supposed to Clay. Rivers switches to Looney. But with him playing on the backside like this, they even identified, I think they even put Steph Curry in this strong corner so that Chris Paul, instead of protecting the basket like the inbounder normally does, Chris Paul's eyes are over here, worried about Steph. Because of that, Looney again has Rivers on his back, goes right to the basket, gets fouled, makes both free throws. That was a huge, huge play in the game. Want to see another huge play? How about a 21% three-point shooter in the playoffs nailing a three, up 2 with 3:30 left? A 29% regular season three-point shooter. This was a massive shot. He made 2 threes in this game. And this was 9 seconds on the shot clock. Sometimes you just have to tip your cap. All these people all year screaming at Draymond forever shooting the ball or for taking shots. He does it so that in big moments like this, he still has the confidence occasionally to drop one in. It's a huge, huge, huge shot. All right, back to playing small. So one of the drawbacks of playing small, Harden right here is matched up on Looney. So what happens? Steph takes a tough contested shot, but Looney, to his credit, does a great job. This is on Harden a little bit. He wedges Harden underneath the basket. Has a huge offensive rebound. Houston's so small, they have nobody really that can compete with his size. Offensive rebound, kick out. Clay hits a 3. Put him up 7. 8, with 2:30 left. The other thing that did Houston in, 50-50 balls. Not much even you could do about this one. This one was just terrible luck. But again, that's what a lot of these games take. This was amazing hustle by Draymond Green. You see Steph has his man beat. Draymond's man comes in to help. So Steph is going to kick it out to Draymond in the corner for 3. Draymond, though, has gone to back cut already. He's cutting to the basket. Anybody else, this is a turnover. This pass normally with this guy cutting would just fly out of bounds, be a turnover. Draymond somehow gets a hand on the ball right here and then sees when Harden's going to get the loose ball. Draymond has the presence of mind to not only tip it again, but to tip it right off of Harden to save the possession. So that with 2 minutes left, up 6, Iguodala's going to somehow, Chris Paul is going to lose Iguodala on the inbounds. They're going to find him for a layup. 50-50 balls. Win games. Speaking of 50-50 balls, here's another one. Up 4, under a minute left. They force Steph into contested, tough floater. PJ Tucker has a chance at a rebound right here. Misses it. Steph right back up for 2 free throws. And then this was again the game. 11 seconds. They got Clay in a trap. Force him to maybe step out of bounds or just float the ball up. If I'm Houston, I'm ecstatic right now. There's 10 seconds left in the game. I've got a loose ball that Eric Gordon has a track on. Chris Paul is probably closest to. Eric Gordon somehow doesn't get this ball. Ends up in Looney's hands. Finds Clay for a layup. That's the ball game. 4 seconds left. That was a 50-50 ball. 10 seconds left. It decided the game. Houston would have had a chance again. A timeout. Draw up a play. Hit a 3. Send it to overtime. Instead, they lost really on that play. So did James Harden really choke? My opinion, no. He made the right play. He plays the game the way he has all season, the way that has him in MVP conversation. They scored enough points to win the game. They didn't play perfect defense, and they didn't win the 50-50 balls. That was the story in Game 5. Game 6, Game 7, without KD potentially, I'd put the odds in their favor and think it'll still be an amazing finish to the series. Thanks for watching. Make sure you thumb up, subscribe, and again, make sure you follow on Twitter at ScoutWithBryan. Lots of awesome content coming there. Appreciate you watching.